All right, this is gonna have to do. This is just gonna have to do. We're not shooting for perfection, we're shooting for progression here and being persistent. So normally I would have probably like made a whole video and edited it, but my goal is to actually try to drop 2 videos a week. Ooh, so that way I could just get better talking in front of the camera. So that's so crazy. The video that I'm making is literally about goal setting for 2026, and my husband just texted me and he said, he asked me a question earlier, but he never like got to it, and he literally just said, "My question is, when do you want to start goal setting for next year?" I'm literally doing it now. I love that. Okay, so because this is live, y'all are getting my real raw. Today is Monday, and I usually like to do my Mondays as kind of like a momentum starter. I start my Mondays very slow. It's all about me. I try not to schedule anything on Mondays. I try not to take any type of appointments on Mondays just because I know that the intention that I set on Monday is going to be the rest of the week. And I actually work through to Saturday. So Tuesday through Saturday is kind of like my work week, and Sunday and Monday are like my my days. Just because the world in the 9 to 5 world, Mondays are just so hectic anyway, and I rather just gradually go into it because let's be real, nobody loves a Monday when it comes to the work week, and neither do I. Like it for intention, like it for setting my goals for the week and so forth. So for this Monday, I'm actually setting my goals for the year of 2026, and I literally have it broken down right here, and I'm going to kind of go through it just because I feel like it'll be beneficial to someone else. And I realized like during this year, I had a lot of different intentions and they were a little bit all over the place. I ended up hitting a lot of my goals. And I realized going throughout the year, I was like, okay, I don't have to be subjected to whatever life throws at me. I can literally create the foundation and create the momentum that I want to live. And I realized that this entire year, I think I quit my last 9 to 5 in January, so really at the start of the year. And I focused on myself, I focused on my business. I really went through like a really rough mental space just due to family matters, life happening. And it was just always, it was just so overwhelming that I couldn't gather myself. And I had to take a break, and I was like, listen, we're going to start from ground zero, which really is never starting from ground zero, it's starting from zero on a new level. And I was like, let's really hone in on what we want to do. And I knew I wanted to start my business. I actually legitimized my cleaning business. I ended up replacing what I would have made at a 95 in a 95 a 9 to 5 anywhere, and I made that consistent over the last year, so that's been great. And now it's time to actually scale, and I ended up coming on to a new venture as well, which is something that I've always wanted to do. I just never actually put the time into doing it. And I made a TikTok post. It ended up just going viral. And it was just really about me connecting with other women that I felt were in the same ballpark as me, other women that had, businesses or were entrepreneurs, maybe starting their business, growing their business, scaling their business, whatever. And just so we could meet up at a coffee shop, maybe talk, keep accountable of our goals. Very slight. Also, mompreneurs, pretty much, because it's way different being a single woman versus being a mother, having to balance life and family as well as your business and yourself. And so those are the women that I wanted to connect with, and literally over 100 women plus, because it's still going up, over 100 women ended up reaching out to me. And I know if you guys have been following me, I have started something called Mommy Manifest a few years ago, which actually I'm just going to be rebranding that. And this is the Being Her. It's the 1% Woman Circle. That's what I call it, because we take ourselves seriously, we have discipline, we hold each other accountable, and it's really like a support group. And we host different events. We host weekly events, virtual and in person, as well as monthly events, in order to help each other scale each other's businesses, network, come to each other's events, maybe having different markets. Like, it's still a new venture, and we're just really collaborating and partnering, but it's become something that has grown on its own, just organically. And I'm very appreciative of it, because the women that I've met so far, the women that are helping me with the different events right now, it's taken on a life of its own. And I'm just so happy to be in a space to where I don't have to depend on, is it making money? It's truly like just a fulfilling space to be in. I love connecting women. I love networking with other women, and I love just really that community, that communal feeling. And we all have the same like mind. We all have the same goals. We're all having the same focus. We're all doing pretty much the same things. And it's just an exciting space to be in. So that was something that was unbeknownst to me, didn't really plan for it. It just kind of happened. But now going into the next year, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to take life coming at me. I'm going to curate my life. I'm going to be the narrative, like be the main character of my narrative. I'm going to take over my own story, and I'm going to be the star of my own movie. So what do I want my movie to look like? And that's where this really in-depth visualization map out for 2026 is coming. So a little bit of metaphysics, if you will. 2025 is a 9-year. 9 is the representation of completion, and I did my numerology. I don't know if that's it. I did my numerical charts way like several years ago, and it was introduced to me, and I found out that I'm a master number 9, which means that, like, which means basically it's a completion of a cycle, starting anew, basically applying everything that you've learned. Really, everything that I've been feeling this year, I've been stepping into that, and I feel it. And when you look at it from a numerology standpoint, it makes sense. And so that's something that I very much so am interested in, and I've been kind of applying it, not relying on it, but applying it. And if we're looking at it from a numerology standpoint, next year, 2026, will be a 1 year, which is really a starting foundation, just laying the foundation down, laying the brick down. And since I've already laid the foundation down this year, next year I'm going to really focus on refining, amplifying more of the impact, more intuitiveness, more intention into it, as well as scaling it, because this is going to be the start of my next 10 years, and I'm very excited about it. And to be a woman in business, to be a woman who is financially literate, to be a woman who is knowledgeable about her craft, to be a woman who is truly creating, that is the essence of femininity. And that's something that I held very dear to my heart this year. That's something that just really was a motivating factor for me, because I realized over the past several years, like, I was just playing the cycle of everything that I have been through. I was really repeating things that I had seen from my past, really reiterating those things. And, when it comes to healing, healing is not, just a one day process. It's not, it's a forever evolving process, and you don't realize what you haven't healed until it comes up. And so, throughout this entire year, I just realized, like, hey, you don't have to react to everything, but let's make sure that we're responding in a healthy way, in an adequate way, to where we're still able to move forward effectively. And we're still able to, do all the things that we want to do. Maybe, I'm not motivated every single day, but I'm at least disciplined enough to get up and show up for myself daily. And it was just shedding that old person, shedding that old self, and not only nurturing the little girl inside of me, but knowing that she's safe, knowing that she's secure, and knowing that I'm now the adult that is taking care of her, so she's in good hands, like Allstate. um, and as well as building the woman and being the woman that not only I aspire to be, but that I truly am. And that's where the whole Being Her movement came through. And just stepping into who I am, what I want to put out to the world, how I want to live my days, and how I want to utilize my time, not only as a woman, but as a wife, as a mother, as a sister, as an aunt, as a companion, as a family member, as a friend, as a community leader. Like, all of these things, these are things that I'm stepping into. These are things that I desire, and these are things that I know that I am and I'm fully capable of. And so it was just really about me facing my fear and stepping through to it, just allowing myself to really get into it. So yeah, that's my little spiel. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the planning. Now, I do have some notes because I wanted to make it a little bit more friendly to comprehend and go into. So, hold on. Some notes. Okay, so here are my personal bullet points, if you will, or my personal focus points for 2026. First of all, I want to go into the totality of the year. What do I want the year overall to look like? And if you are aware, I do have a video. If I don't have it on this channel, it was on my other channel, but it is the 12-week year, and it's basically taking your mind from annual thinking to condensing down to what's really essential, and really knocking out those goals and building the momentum right then and there. It's a short enough time to be able to get things done, and a long enough time to be able to see progression, which 12 weeks is really like 90 days, 3 months, if you will, a quarter. And so it's really about quarterly thinking. What you can do in a year, you can do in 12 weeks. And basically, each week represents what 1 month would entail. So each day represents what 1 week in a month would entail. So you really are cutting down all of the distractions, cutting down all of the excess things that you really don't need, the fillers and stuff. And you're allowing yourself to be able to get it done effectively, and make sure you're efficient. So something for me that I utilize, especially within this 12-week year, like, so this is my actual full week, and these are a lot of things that have kind of just been bogged down in my mind, but I do a brain dump, and I have like my different sections, but I kind of list out that, and then I list everything within it, because every single day I can get one of these done. So there's 4 bullet points. That takes 4 days. Now, idealistically, everything's gonna go smoothly, but of course, some things happen to where there are things out of your control. You just allow that to go on, just roll over. Okay, sorry. So you just want that to kind of roll over. But whatever you can get done in 5 minutes, start it then. And sometimes it's about starting it and maybe not completing it, but at least once you start, give yourself a timer for 5 to 10 minutes, get the task started. And usually by that time, you'll actually realize that it wasn't as daunting, or it didn't take as long as you actually needed it to. And that's something that has really helped me. I believe there's a, excuse me, I believe there is a system that it's called. I can't think of it off the top of my head, the Pomodoro system or something like that. I don't know, but it's where you set like incremental timers in order to get a task done. So I definitely implement that. You know, I'm all about systems and processes that work. I'm like, how can I be the most efficient at all times? Period. I use that in every single point of my life because I love what Emma Greed said. She quoted, you know, how you do anything is how you do everything. And that really stuck with me because I want to make sure that I'm showing up in all areas of my life the same, because if you lack in one area of your life, that's going to be reflective in every single area of your life. But if I'm consistently trying to become better, be progressive, move forward, then that is going to reflect in all areas of my life. And that's what we want. We want to constantly be evolving and getting better and doing better, so that way we pass those traits down to our children. We pass those down, and it's just going to be beautiful. It's going to be wonderful. Another thing is, normally I leave my phone. I need to put it on do not disturb right now. Normally I leave my phone in another room just so I don't get distracted, but for here I kind of needed it for my notes. So let's go ahead and get into it. I just lost it. All these texts just came through. Jeez. Jay's Louise. Okay, hold on. Are you kidding me? I just lost it. That's so crazy. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. It's crazy because I didn't even click off of it. Mm. 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 Hmm. Okay. All my friends are texting me in a group chat right now, and they're talking about something wild right now, and I'm like really trying not to engage because I'm trying to make this video and get my stuff done. And that's another thing, my non-negotiables and my boundaries. I can't sit here and kiki with the gals. Okay, there we go. I can't sit here and kiki with the gals and not be getting my stuff done. But I love a good key. I love a good key. You do have to live a little bit. I don't want to be so laser focused that I'm not living. But priorities. I do love a good key. So after I make this video, we will be keying. Okay, so number one, start with the big picture. You want to write down your major life goals. You want to write down whatever your dreams are, what you want to actually prioritize within the next year, and really get clear and have clarity, both individually and as a family. So right now I'm doing my individual sector, and then I will later come with my husband and do our actual full sector. And like I said, I have my personal things that I want to talk about. So for instance, I have what my total year looks like in totality, what my spiritual, my mental, my physical vessel, what my habits, my non-negotiables will be for the year that I'll stick to, my lifestyle, my businesses, my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my children, my relationship with my family and friends overall, and then my quarterly focus, which my Q1 is scaling my business, my Q2 is wellness, my Q3 is really downtime and family oriented, and then my Q4 is really for harvesting and implementing, new strategies and seeing how we can be able to ramp up for the following year, as well as work travel, because we don't take vacations, we write everything off. Okay, And that's going to be some things I'm going to actually implement throughout the next year. All of the financial literacy and the financial education that I have been diving deep into, because it's very important as a woman in order to be in your soft life, soft girl era. You must have your own money. Okay? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying, to truly be in a feminine aspect of your life, to truly walk in that feminine energy, you need to have your own bag. And I'm not saying that you can't have a provider, because I have a provider. Love him down. But babe, you need to be able to have your own bag, so that way you can go on that girl trip that you want to go to. You can get your hair and your nails done whenever you need to. You can buy you a little something nice, something sweet. You can go on that girls' day, have a little wine kiki with the girls. You need to be able to be in your own bag. And that is something very important that I noticed, especially after becoming a mother. I became so dependent on my husband that I became depressed. And when I got out and I went to work, sure that smile, that frown turned upside down and it became a smile. And I have been happy ever since and laser focused on creating my own bag. And it has been the best since, because my husband knows I don't need anything. I don't ask him for anything unless he just gives it. And I love that. I can spend on him. I can spend on my children. I can monitor my business. I can pick up on if we have any miscellaneous things. Like, it's such a great feeling, and that's what a true partnership when it comes to marriage is. So I love that. Like, we love a provider, but we love to also provide for ourselves. Clock it. Okay. And then my business goals, hobbies, personal goals, and different events, because there are a few events that I do want to go to within 2026, you know. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. But that includes, so basically when you're looking at your bigger picture, this includes everything from your business moves to your personal growth to your family adventures, okay? Number 2, you want to identify your non-negotiables. So you want to block off time for what's really most important, what's most essential for you. So that's family vacations, birthdays, anniversaries, regular date nights, any type of traditions that you actually want to uphold. This year coming up, I want to make sure that I definitely plan out time for family time and plan out time for me and my husband quality time, because I want to take a trip or 3 just for ourselves. This past year we took a trip to Chicago together, and that was probably the best time that we ever had, because it was just us without the kids, and it hasn't been like that since they graced our presence and welcomed themselves onto this earth. So that was very much needed. We rekindled our fire, and I was like, we need more of this. We need more of this, okay? So definitely making sure that those are marked down, non-negotiable, dated. We're upholding those. And basically you want to make sure that these go on the calendar first, because everything else goes around that. Everything else goes around that. I don't care if there is a soccer game, a birthday. If it goes on the calendar first, I'm not missing it. I'm making sure I'm making it. That is priority. My family is always number 1 priority. I don't care. There's not enough money in the world that's going to leave me from my family. So if they can't come, if they can't be involved, I'm not going. And that's just my non-negotiable. Other people aren't like that, but in order for me to have a healthy work-life balance, in order for me to really stay motivated, stay fulfilled, stay in a happy space to where I feel like doing things, I'm going to make sure that I put my family first. I put myself first, and then I put my family. And then business comes after. Business never comes before the family unit, okay? So yeah, they're untouchable. And of course, couples time, so make that a priority every single month. As well as number 3 is to set your quarterly focus areas. So I set specific goals and projects in each quarter. So for example, I told you my quarter 1 was really about scaling my business, making sure I'm putting out new offers, making sure that I'm creating that community that I want to see flourish throughout the year, really nurturing that. We're not necessarily in the salesy aspect of it yet, but we're really focusing on scaling the business initiative, the intention behind the business. And then 2 is about wellness. How are we keeping up, making sure that we're staying maintenance, making sure that the business is being maintenance as well. So everything within the life, like, it's not a work-life balance, it's a work-life cohesion, I should say. It's married, it's cohesive, and you want to make sure that it's moving in a cohesion versus just completely separate, because it can never be completely separate, especially when you're an entrepreneur, you have your own business, like, you are your own boss. And I feel like that's the freedom and aspect that people love about entrepreneurship, but they don't ever systemize it or have a system that actually works for them throughout it. And this is something that I know for next year I'm definitely implementing, because this year I allowed my business to take over, and I was missing dates, I was missing family time, and I was like, I can't do that again, because that's not the balance I want. I'm never going to make sure that it's not a healthy flow. And it should always be a flow. Now, things are always going to happen, and you want to be prepared for those, but guess what? We're going to be prepared. That's why we're doing this. Quarter 3, focus on family downtime, making sure that I'm resting, because rest is important. Rest is also productive. That's something that I learned this year. You have to take time in order to rest. You can't constantly go and go and go. Even our phones die sometimes, and we got to recharge them. Any type of electronic, it has to be recharged. So we have to take time for ourselves as electrical beings in order to be recharged as well. And then breaking my quarter 4 to basically the harvest, enjoying the fruits of the labor, making sure that we're setting up not only for next year, but we're enjoying everything that we did within the year. And you want to break it down to quarters, because it helps you stay focused and it prevents you from being overwhelmed. Number 4 is map out work travel. So like I said, when you're an entrepreneur, everything is a write-off. That's what we love. And we want to make sure that we're not taking family vacations. We take work trips. Hello. Okay. So as an entrepreneur, we review each other's businesses, me and my husband, we review each other's businesses, travel schedules, and plan trips in advance in order to avoid any type of overlapping, any type of scheduling conflicts. And we want to make sure that we actually support each other. So I'm definitely going to be doing this with a lot of my friends and colleagues, because I want to make sure that I'm showing up for them, they're showing up for me, and we're not conflicting. We are one. And that is really the sole purpose of the Being Her community, is because we want to make sure that everyone is seen, everyone is heard, everyone is felt, everyone is loved, everyone is being able to participate in as much as they possibly can in order to grow and make sure that they have their own community as well, because it's so important, because without community, you really have nothing. So yeah, that's a great way to balance work and family while sneaking in extra time together as well. Number 5 is divide and conquer. So we want to review each other's individual priorities, whether that be business, hobbies, personal goals, and discuss how we can actually support each other. And this ensures that we're not just balancing schedules, but we're actually lifting each other up. So for me and my husband, I may have different fitness goals than he has, or I may be wanting to do intermediate fasting, or, he may be wanting to go on a guy's trip or something. Like, we want to make sure that we're showing up for each other, and we want to make sure that we're actually communicating those goals, because we don't want to butt heads. We don't want to have conflicting schedules, and we don't want to be going down separate paths. We want to make sure that we have the same vision, same goals, that we're working towards the same things, even if we're on our own individual spaces. And then lastly is just monthly check-ins. I do weekly and monthly check-ins. So that way we could just continue like scheduling a standing monthly sync up meeting to review the calendar, adjust what's needed, and celebrate what we've accomplished so far. So I feel like that's very important because throughout the year, you know, you're just going and going and going. You want to see basically what you've done. You want to see your progress. You don't want to constantly just be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm taking all of this and like I'm not seeing any fruits in my labor. I'm not seeing any results coming through. You want to make sure that you're scheduling time to take time to be like, hey, stop, pause, smell the flowers, make sure that you're acknowledging what you are doing, what you're actively working towards. And maybe, you know, your result hasn't come just yet, but you're working towards it. You're one step closer towards it than you were when you did not start. And that is the whole common goal. And something that I have really drilled in this past year that I'm taking with me now for life is the fact that it's never about the destination, it's always about the journey. So make sure that you're making your journey count. Make sure that you're making it fun. Make sure that you're making it like joyful. Make sure that you're enjoying your life and you're living. You don't want to just be working for money just to pay bills, just to exist, because that's not a life. That's not anything that is enjoyable. And as a human being, you want to enjoy your life. You want to enjoy your experiences. And I know right now you're probably saying, well, I don't have enough money or I don't have this. I need you to know that you must shift your perspective and you must know that everything that you're ever going to need is already within you. And it takes a lot of doing the inner work, doing the self-healing, and doing the self-preservation in order for you to see that on the other side. I know that it took me years in order to just recognize my worth, recognize what I actually brought to the table, and recognize my value. And I was trying to show other people how valuable I was, but it wasn't until I accepted my own value and I stepped into my own purpose and power that I was able to take on life, and it was able to open up for me and shift for me. As in me doing things like this, building that confidence, building that momentum. You never know who you're going to inspire. You never know who your story is going to touch. You never know who you're going to actually reach. But it's always important that you know that you're enough. And I can't stress that enough. It's more important for you to know that you're enough than other people to know that you're enough. Because it all starts with you. Life unfolds from you. It doesn't happen to you, it unfolds from you. And so you want to make sure that you're always viewing from the perspective of life is happening for you. Things are always happening for you, not to you. Because when you think of it from the perspective of things are happening to you, you become a victim. And you never want to be a victim. You never want to stay in a victim's mindset. You want to turn that pain into power, and you want to make sure that you're flourishing. And so those are my tips for the year 2026 goal setting. Don't wait until January. Start now, start today, start at this moment, because you have everything that you ever need in order to start. You just have to make one step towards what you want and continuing step by step. And you got this. I can, I do, I will. No matter what, no matter when, no matter how. Love y'all. See y'all later.